Diddy, Kutcher, Masterson, your cult ties are showing. Piano guy Stephen Ridley, your cult ties are showing. I think that's the theme today. Your cult ties are showing. Aloha, everybody. Welcome. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where we talk about all the culty things, my 35 years in this cult, and leaving with 3 generations of my family. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here in the live chat. Thank you to the moderators helping out, and mahalo to the members for being here. We are going to get in all kinds of stuff, including how this evolving story with Sean Diddy Combs, Danny Masterson, and Ashton Kutcher, and how people outside of this community are continuing to make the ties with Scientology and calling out certain behaviors. Oh, it's crazy. It is getting crazy. To say that their cult ties are showing is truly an understatement. We're going to get into it. There is a channel called Screen Queens, and I thought they just did a great job. I'm going to pull up my links there. A great job of bringing these ties together. And you guys, we're going to talk about it. It is weird. Acupunk, the Hollyweird. The Hollyweird is almost too much. Like, whoa. You guys tell me. I obviously grew up in a cult and spent a large amount of my life in Scientology. But I've been out for 14 years. And granted, I've not been up to date on tons of pulp culture. I have on and off over the years. In fact, I worked for a radio station some years ago where it was a pulp culture talk radio station. But I'm just telling you, I just can't with this is so much more that I've ever seen coming out in tying cult ties to Scientology and certain behaviors of the people that might be attracted to that in the entertainment industry. Kathy, you're saying it well. OSA must be going even more insane. And if you're new to my channel, OSA is the Office of Special Affairs. It is the enforcement arm, the dirty tricks arm for Scientology. Because how can you have a church and not have a dirty tricks arm, something similar to what the FBI or the CIA might do, right? I'm sure. Don't all churches have that? It's not a thing, right? Okay, so anyways, let's get into this Screen Queens and what they covered here. Oh my goodness. Let's watch a little bit of this.
The question you should be asking here is why the LAPD chose to cover for Ashton. Well, it's because he's a member of this cult whose name we can't say here because of YouTube guidelines. But we'll give you a hint. It starts with an S.
Now, that is one of the rare times I've heard somebody call him out as actually being a Scientologist. I don't know. We know about his involvement and ties to Scientology, mainly through Danny Masterson, but he did run with quite a few Scientologists.
Remember how Ashton and his wife expressed support for Danny? Well, he was part of the same cult, and the women he violated were actually former members. And a lot of folks on the internet believe that Danny was tasked with bringing in the Hollywood couple as new recruits.
Now that makes sense to me, right? The idea that Danny Masterson was actually supposed to bring Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher into Scientology. And my brain wants to explode when I try and think about, I don't know what Mila knew, but I find it hard to believe that Ashton Kutcher was not aware of Danny's behavior and his proclivities, to put it lightly. So knowing that he's a Scientologist, how do you reconcile those two things unless you're somebody where you don't see anything wrong with that type of behavior of drugging women and assaulting them, which Danny Masterson is now in prison for, where he belongs. How do you, it's not adding up. So let's listen to a bit more of this.
So the question is, did Ashton take him up on that offer? Well, Danny and Ashton were close friends. Not only did they work on the same show, but they also invested in a restaurant together. What's more, Ashton even performed for the cult's annual Christmas Stories event to benefit the Hollywood Police Activities League back in 2003 and 2004.
Now, remember, we all know the issues that have been had with the police in Hollywood in regard to showing Scientology preferential treatment. Those celebrity center galas that are, Celebrity Center is Scientology. they would get different celebrities come and read Christmas stories. And it was also a way for Scientology celebrities to bring their other celebrity friends in and try to get them involved. And if not recruit them into Scientology, but at least give the appearance that they support it because they're there. It is just crazy.
As for the case of Ashley's passing, well, some fans think it was the members of the cult who swooped in to save Ashton.
Now, you guys might remember, this has been covered multiple times. Ashton was dating a girl. He was going to go out, went to go pick her up, showed up at her house, looked inside, saw what he thought was red wine on the floor, and she was deceased. But rather than calling authorities right away, he called his manager, worked out some type of PR crisis thing, and then he even called Danny Masterson. And yeah. Like, you know, so you find something like that, you call your management team first, and then you call Danny Masterson before you speak to law enforcement. That too just seems, that is definitely kind of like seems a little culty.
Redditor wrote, the LAPD supposedly has deep connections with cult officials and has been accused of covering up crimes for the organization in the past. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Ashton made a call to Danny that night and was blackmailed into writing the letter.
So that is the interesting thing too, is she's saying, well, maybe it was in part the details of what happened that night with that young lady who was killed by someone who is said to be, I think, some type of serial killer. I mean, what are the odds of that? That's kind of crazy. So that something, you know, I don't know if it was just the fact that he called Danny Masterson that somebody thinks that can be used against him, but was that used in getting him to write the letter? In other words, was there something that Danny Masterson knows about Ashton Kutcher, that why he wrote that letter supporting Danny Masterson after his sentencing, after he was found guilty? Like, what makes you do that? So I thought that was interesting. Link down below to the full video so you can check it out, because these cult ties are running deep, you guys, and it's getting to be a bit scary. Just when you think the Scientology rabbit hole cannot get any crazier, it completely does. And it takes a turn. It's taken a turn, and we're not the only ones talking about it, which, let's be honest, I do like that. Okay, now we're going to take a look at a clip from a channel called Perfect Person. I don't know if you guys ever watch it. I think people call in, and this person called in with a very interesting story. She works in a spa. Her boss wanted to give her a bikini wax, and her boss was going to try out a new wax on her. Her boss put the wax on her. It tore off her skin. It caused damage. It was very, very painful, which is weird all by itself, right? Like, why would you do that? And there was kind of like this back and forth with the boss. The person left, and then she ended up coming back. But there's an interesting twist to this. That's kind of like the backstory of what they were talking about so far. But then listen to this. It takes a little bit of a turn.
Are you friendly with your boss, like outside of work? Is this someone that's in your community and world, or is this someone you only see there?
Okay, so here's another interesting thing. She's a Scientologist. I work next to the Church of Scientology. So, like, we're super cool. But, like, she don't do the things that I do outside of work. So we don't really hang out outside of work, but we're really cool.
You were burned by a Scientologist.
Okay, she has a lot of money. So even if just outside of work, you could be like, just give me personally $5,000 and I'll never talk to you about this again.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want. You hit the nail on the head, because our Christmas bonus the year before was $5,000.
Your Christmas bonus at a spa is $5,000?
That's insane.
Okay, I'm irreplaceable. No, I'm kidding. That actually has nothing to do with that.
Wow.
So burned by a Scientologist. She goes on to explain how her job in the spa, she does not get tips. So that's to kind of account for that. But I was like listening to this story, and the story was bizarre enough by itself, of this whole thing with the wax. And I'm listening thinking, oh, ouch, ouch, ouch. And then you find out that the boss is a Scientologist, and you just go, okay. Oh, it just brings it to a whole new level of crazy and hilariousness at that point when that comes up. So let's take a quick look at something else that I came across, which are 30 things that unnoticeably got deleted. And let's see if you guys remember any of these things. Of course, there's going to be a Scientology tie-in here, but the whole list is kind of interesting. 30 things that unnoticeably got deleted from our reality, as pointed out by folks in this online group. And it is things like, number one, acid rain. It was a huge environmental issue in the 70s through the 90s. Rain was acidic and damaged fertile areas, among other things. So that kind of disappeared from the conversation is what they're saying. Number two, actual toys in cereal boxes and Cracker Jack boxes. Okay, here's the deal. I didn't even know this went away because I have not bought that kind of cereal in what feels like a million years. But is this true? There are no toys anymore? Because back in my day, you guys know, I am a woman of a certain age at 54. And back in my day, when I was a kid, we had toys in the cereal. That was like the fun part of it. And now I'm like, does this not exist anymore? Apparently not. Number three, politicians feeling ashamed when they're caught lying. I would agree with that one. Where's the shame? Where's the embarrassment? Number four, ownership. We used to pay money and then the thing actually belonged to us. Now everything is rented or leased. Everything is sold as a service. That is different too. And I never really thought about it like that. Number five, waterbeds. Waterbeds. Where are the waterbeds? And little side note, funny story. I married into a waterbed. The second time I got married, my husband at the time had this waterbed probably since the 80s. And I was a waterbed owner for a short while. And soon as I could convince him to get rid of it, I did. Okay. So let me go back on this because this thing was just like cracking me up. Did you guys ever have a waterbed? Tell me I'm not the only one that had a waterbed, but you might have had it in the 70s and 80s when it made more sense. No, for me, it was like the early 2000s. But again, in my defense, I married into it. Number six was when you turn off the TV, how the image would shrink to a dot before slowly fading away. I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention to that. Movie trailers with that deep voice guy doing the voiceovers. Yeah, I do believe he passed away, actually. The Sears Wish Book. Okay, this I remember. And I got to say, it's a little nostalgic. It reminds me, Amazon will even send out a wish list wish book right now, but it is nothing like this. You guys remember? Tell me I'm not the only one. The Sears wish book, going through it, marking it up, hoping that your parents are going to buy the things that you want. Do you guys remember that? 9, I want some Taco Bell. Taco Bell used to have a Chihuahua as their mascot. Little dude disappeared one day. Well, you can't be a mascot forever. Number 10, I don't really know what that one's about. Panama Papers. This is a bit lengthier, but after mass protests, the Prime Minister of Iceland was forced to resign along with many other members of the ruling party. I don't know a ton about that either. I heard about it, but I honestly don't know too much about it. Service clubs, Rotary, Lions, and Shriners. Okay, this one I disagree with because I know for a fact, at least where I live, these service clubs still do exist. The Lions in our community does quite a bit of volunteering. Telephone books, gone. Yes, as they should be. Now, most of you know about telephone books, but for some of our younger audience, it might shock you to find out that there was a time in our world where we would put our full names, our home address, and our phone number in a book, and it would be tossed onto everybody's doorstep for them to just have. There'd be a copy of it when you would go to a payphone so you could look up the number for somebody. It's so funny because today it's so different, right? You don't give anybody your home address. Yet there was a time not that long ago where we printed it in a book and gave it away for free. I feel like we kind of forgot about that. Do you guys remember that? And now it's like, oh, no, I'm not giving you my number. Or no, like my address is private, as it should be. I don't think it was a lack of boundaries issue back then. I think the world was just a different place. I don't know. You guys tell me. And you're right, Arena. Phone books went with the telepagers. With pagers, that's so true. But it got me thinking about this. I'm telling you, this whole article was a bit nostalgic for me. Landlines. Okay, be honest, you guys. Be honest. Who still has a landline? So 1 in the chat if you have a landline. 2 if you cut the cord and you do not have a landline. If you're on the replay, go ahead and tell me in those comments. because it's been so long since I've had a landline. I didn't realize people still had landlines, and some do. So I'm curious. You guys tell me, y'all got landlines? Do you have landlines? That class for keyboard typing, did they get rid of that? When I was in middle school, we had to take typing class on typewriters. And I thought they were still teaching it in school. Wow. Okay. So some of you do have landlines still. Maybe it's just a me thing. That is interesting. Interesting. Wow. Okay. Keep those coming. I'm going to go back and look at that. I can't believe there's no typing anymore. Buying a new game and having a thick, chunky manual filled with game lore, which you would read before playing to heighten the anticipation of the game itself. Last time I checked, there's still manuals, but not maybe thick ones for games. Here's what I think. I think that the reason we don't have the thick manuals anymore for games is because people don't have the attention span to read through an entire manual. Not everybody is like me, where I'm like, always, that's my vehicle. Let me read the manual. Now, I didn't read the whole thing. I started and I'm like, Natalie, you're not in Scientology anymore. Stop. You don't have to read the manual for everything that you want to use. Totally a thing, by the way, in Scientology. You got to read the manual. Like if you're in the Sea Org and you're going to use a piece of equipment, there's a job write-up for it. Maybe not the whole manual, but certain parts of it that you do have to read, which isn't a bad idea to understand the equipment that you're using. I'm just saying, like, you don't need to read the entire car manual to drive your car. At least that's the conclusion that I came to. Okay, Facebook poke wars. I didn't know. Can you still poke people on Facebook? I know that this was a thing, right? Where you could, like, you send a poke. I feel like the other day I found my pokes. I don't know how I found it, but a few people had poked me, and I've never understood the poking on Facebook. So I don't do the pokes. So if you poked me, I'm not poking you back because I don't even know what it means today. I'm always like, what does that mean today? But it's not very obvious where it is. I will say that because I just like came across it, but still, I didn't even know. Did you guys know about the poking? Yeah, there's a button you push, old Fritz, and then I guess it's like waving high. I don't know. I'm not sure what it meant then, and I don't know what it means now. Ronald McDonald, that's fine if that dude disappeared. He scared me as a child. Here's number 19. Where is Shelley Miscavige? Things that disappeared, went away without noticing. So do you get it? Things that went away without noticing. Shelley Miscavige went away without noticing. Although we at first, you know what, let's be honest, nobody noticed until Leah Remini said something and said, where's Shelley? And then that whole thing started. So that's that list. I've got it linked down below. I thought it was very interesting and kind of nostalgic. Marilyn from Coffee, Cults, and Crafts says, my kids say poking strangers on Facebook is wrong. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I didn't even know that you could still do it, that it was a thing. Hey, Lori Plays. I didn't know. Lone Dinosaur says not on Facebook either. So I don't know who these people are who are doing all the poking, but yeah, no, not down with that on Facebook. Okay, now let's go over to the blue buildings. There is a woman on YouTube. She goes by Katie Kidman. She is a First Amendment auditor out there in Hollywood. She's got, I think, about like 22,000 subscribers on her channel, and she does different First Amendment type things. And she was on L. Ron Hubbard Way and actually walked almost up to the door of the cafe and shared some things that many of you have probably never seen, myself included, because I've not been back to the blue building since I left Scientology. And yeah, of course, security came out and was like, ma'am, you need to leave. Street closure. So let's take a look at this. Let's look at this. This was interesting.
Oh, there's some turtles in there.
Let's just start with the Scientology Turtles. When did this happen? How did I not know about this? Now, I've not been to the blue building since I left Scientology. This didn't exist before. So They made this, they built this. I find it so fascinating because they don't do anything usually that has to do with, animals and things like that. So what happened? Did somebody like donate some turtles? I don't see Scientology paying for turtles, but something happened here. I don't hate it, but it's interesting. I didn't know this was there. Did you guys know that there were Scientology turtles right off of L. Ron Hubbard Way? We've been missing out on this.
Are you a Scientologist? There's a Scientology Turtle. It is. You ran away. There's some little Scientology turtles in here, guys. Swimming around. Come on out. Don't be afraid. There's somebody here. Hello. Morning.
So that's the door leading to the cafe. Public Scientologists can go in there to get little snacks for them to go in session, protein shakes, all of the things, coffee.
Good morning. How can I help you?
Oh, I was just coming over here to see if the restaurant's open.
Okay, good. Can I ask you not to film on the property?
Not to come.
You notice that he put his gloves on when he came out? Like, I don't know. Were you going to handle one of the turtles? Like, what's with the gloves?
On the property?
Not to film on
Oh,
the
I
property?
was just invited.
Oh.
Yeah. What's your name?
Can I ask you not to film on the property?
Oh, sure. This is public, right?
Yeah,
Up here?
except we have a street closure.
You have a what?
This is a street closure.
Oh, right here? Oh, because somebody just invited me over here.
Oh, who was that?
Oh, a guy that stays here, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but we do have a street closure, so.
Well, oh, there's some turtles in there.
We have a street closure. Please get off the public sidewalk because we're closing the street to make sure Scientologists have can fill the place up. It's so busy. We need all the space. Yeah, no, Scientology. No, we see you. So he goes on. She actually has a decent conversation with him. Check this out.
So who are you? Who are you and why are you so aggressive and close to me?
I work security.
Okay, so back off a little. That's a little bit weird.
Yeah, I don't want to be on camera, that's all.
Well, then don't come out here and get in front of the camera.
Well,
I love that. He's like, I don't want to be in front of the camera. And she's like, well, don't come out here and get in front of the camera. I love the calm demeanor that she has about this too, while also calling him out on the fact that he is being weird and he is behaving in a way that is bizarre.
Dude,
Like
you are bizarre, dude.
no,
Are you a Scientologist?
man,
Are you?
you gotta, right now,
Because if you are,
right now you're on a close street, please.
Okay, he is not keeping his training routines in, his TRs, as they say in Scientology. You can tell he's starting to lose it a little bit, and he's just trying to use communication and gestures, use his training routine 8C, as it's called in Scientology, to get her to leave.
this is public right here, right?
Yeah, you can pass through.
Right here.
Street and sidewalk are closed.
If this is public, then it's public.
But you have to travel through.
You want to
can't
walk
stand-
with me? Talk to me about Scientology? Because really, seriously,
You have to travel through. You can't stop. Keep going. We've seen this over and over again.
it's not funny. I take it quite serious. My twin sister is a Scientologist. Okay? And I love her a lot.
Who are you?
I'm Katie.
Katie.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I've studied Scientology, so I'm not against anything.
where are you from?
I'm open to. I'm from here.
From here?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was born here.
Doing his Scientology interrogation. Who is she? Where's she from? This is a new one. We don't recognize her. Well, Scientology, let me help you out. She has a YouTube channel you can follow, and she's a First Amendment person. So hopefully she comes back. But yeah, his training routines were way out. I feel like he was about to lose it. He was. Irina says, feels like he's giving her a locational. Yeah, it did. Look at the end of the street. Thank you. Walk to the end of the street. Thank you. Touch that turtle. Thank you. No, don't touch that turtle. Yeah, I think it's just weird. It's just weird. And the gloves, as soon as he's coming out, he's putting on the gloves. Why? What is that for? That's part of the bizarre behavior. Let's be on it. It's part of the strange and odd, bizarre behavior. Now, let's take a look at some fun, awesome behavior. My email box was blowing up, you guys, blowing up. And guess what it was full of? Dan Walks LA. Dan Walks LA was out on Hollywood Boulevard at the Hollywood Testing Center with an amazing setup with music. It was so fabulous. We're going to look at a couple clips about this. Yeah, Lisa Pete, right? Gloves, super creepy. I agree. Hey, T, good to see you. Okay, so let's get to this. Here. I loved this so much. Dan Walks LA always makes me smile.
Close in on it all. You question your thoughts.
Thanks, guys. Look at this. Traffickers. It's a cult. He's right outside the Hollywood testing center. And at night, that thing had a light on it, which we are going to look at.
Clear water, where you'll never get out. A mecca of life. It's where the garrison.
And he has this whole playlist on his channel of this music that he created. And oh my gosh, it was so great. Watch this.
But the time is here, nothing to fear, and I can finally see I'm going clear.
I mean, even about going clear, that you're mocking up your own reactive mind. Okay, so somebody in the chat said that he wrote the words. Kathy, did he really? I wasn't sure if he used AI for the whole thing or how it worked, but Kathy's saying he wrote the words to the songs. Dan is so talented. I just love it. Okay, let's listen more.
I'm going clear, going clear.
And the whole time he's sharing videos, he's sharing survivor stories, he's sharing documentaries on the television, on a speaker, all playing right outside the Hollywood Testing Center. And he was out there for like 3 hours, even into the evening, which, like I said, that's when the lights came out, and it it really gets fun. See the lights going now that it's getting dark?
Days in the sea or doing time, giving everything just to stay in line.
Wow, my mind is blown now that you guys are telling me he actually wrote the songs.
The more I gave, the less I saw. The cracks in the facade, the lies in the law.
Thank you. Amazing. This was so great. And he was getting some really good support too. People were coming up and getting things from his table and voicing their support. He was educating people on Scientology and why it's a human trafficking cult.
But these are just information on human trafficking that the cult does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It's horrible. So you're spreading awareness? I am. I had friends that grew up in the cult, and oh my God, you're so sweet. Thank you very much. And we're just trying to spread the word and, stop people from going in. Unfortunately, if you're an adult and you choose to be in a cult, that's on you. But kids cannot consent, and they're hiding rapists and pedophiles in there. So, yeah, it is. So-
Just such a great job. All their survivor pictures on the screen. Old Fritz says both foundations. Yeah, just absolutely love it. Okay, so let's take a look. I think I have one more. This was just so great. I love Dan's videos. Okay, let's see.
Looking so disheveled, fulfilling promise for upper OT levels. When they step aboard, they'll see it's all a lie. On board the freeways, where your freedom dies.
On board the free winds, where your freedom dies. Incredible. I love that he's having so much fun with it too. I need to go back and re-listen to those songs, because now knowing that Dan Walks LA actually wrote them, I feel like that's a total game changer. I had no idea. I did not know that. That's so cool. Okay, so let's see. Where are we at now? Let's look at something that T per Scientology audit shared. This was a little while ago, but I think it's important that we talk about it again, because these are things that are going on still in Africa that she was shining a light on. So let's see. I'm going to pull up a clip. This is from T per Scientology audit about Scientology in Africa.
Since the age of the internet and its growth into third world countries, this has been an easy way for Scientology to infiltrate with their front groups with the promise of happiness and human rights. while simultaneously having thousands of slaves in the Sea Org. They seem to be specifically targeting charity groups that are there to help their communities. For example, the Way to Happiness advertises free booklets, t-shirts, hats, and the promise to support them with free courses. This is very tempting for people that are struggling, especially with lack of funding from the government. They're also visiting prisons, mosques, and churches in different countries around Africa.
That is very true. Check out her channel. She's done a few videos about this and even spoke with somebody who she helped get away from Scientology in Africa. So check her out. T's here in the chat. Good to see you. You are welcome. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing, and thank you for sharing it with us as well. Appreciate that. That's right. T's fire. Okay, so let's see now. Let's go look at something else that's new and coming up here. Oh, I love this. You guys know, like, I need inspiration when it comes to making food. Let's be honest. I complain about it all the time. I suck at it, but I need inspiration. And I get some of that. Jenna Miscavige does some good videos that inspires me. Like, okay, I can do yogurt and nuts. Like, I can put that together. Well, I love this. Sins of Scientology is adding in every Monday. Get ready to indulge in sinners and secrets, culinary confessions, where we share sinfully delicious original recipes to kick off your week with flavor and fun. Our weekly recipes are designed to bring our community together through food, sparking conversation, and giving you something tasty to look forward to. So look at this. Look at this. Gourmet truffle, cilantro, lime rice, and black beans with smoked paprika, aioli. Yes, sign me up. It looks like almost something that I could do. I'm looking at this. I read it and I'm like, I think even I could do that. But I love this. Culinary confessions. It's like another offering, something else you get from Sins of Scientology. Already, they're doing great content on so many topics in Scientology. And Sandy McKenna does it, and Abraham Arik. I love it. If you guys don't know their channel, go to Sins of Scientology on YouTube and get caught up, because they've got great content, especially if you're wondering, like, what is the story behind Lisa McPherson? What is the backstory behind these other things that we talk about or reference often on my channel and others, and many people might not know about that. That's a great starting place as well to find out the backstory of a lot of that. And Atkins in Texas, I agree. Love coming together over food. I love that too. I thought that was that's such a great idea. I love it. DS Kitty Diane says, I don't cook. If I did, I'd have to shop and clean up afterwards. I don't even mind the cleaning. I'm telling you, but the cooking. Lori Play says, I can't do cilantro. My DNA makes it taste like soap. I've heard that some people, cilantro to them does taste like soap. They don't like it. I love it. I love cilantro. I would put it on almost everything. There's so many things, but I've heard that, Laurie. That's interesting. Anybody else can't eat cilantro? I'm curious. It reminds me of like asparagus I read somewhere that everybody's pee smells from asparagus, but not everyone can smell it. And that could be dead wrong. It's just what I read it on the internet. So it doesn't mean necessarily that it's true. But I found that interesting because I would have friends and I'm like, does your pee smell after eating asparagus? They'd be like, what are you talking about? But then there was this study done where they didn't just rely on the people who ate the asparagus and then I guess smelled their own pee, but on the people who said that it didn't. They had other people smell their pee, and lo and behold, the asparagus smell was there. Anyways, we are really digressing here. Probably because I'm hungry. I got to finish my breakfast. Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you something else here. There is an article that I want to get on your radar. I want to get it on your radar. Speaking of Lisa McPherson, I've got it linked down below. And this is somebody, Cassie Substack, The Enduring Legacies of Lisa Marie Presley and Lisa McPherson Continue to Haunt Scientology, Part 1. This is going to be a multi-part series, and it's fascinating because it ties together how Lisa Marie Presley and Lisa McPherson's negligent care is linked to Scientology. So very interesting. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's a little lengthy, but you guys, I'm linking it down below so that you can go ahead and read it, because bringing those two stories together and pointing certain things out are a real eye opener. I think that's going to be a real eye opener for people. So I'm going to link that down below so you guys can check it out. Let's get rid of that. I'm just checking the chat here, see if I miss anything. Magnus is not a fan of cilantro. We can still be friends though, right? Even though I love it. You're not going to leave me because I like cilantro and you don't. Pocono plug. I don't want to be in the smell someone else's pee study. I know, right? Can you imagine signing up for that? And you're like, oh, we're studying the effects and who can smell asparagus in their pee. And as part of this study, we're going to need you to smell each other's pee. I got to be honest. My gut reaction to that is I would do it because science. And I have wondered my entire life about this, why some can and some can't. Sign me up for the pee smelling in the name of science. Oh, I'm telling you. Okay. Hey, PTS for life. Good to see you there. Jeff just did a video with the SP chef. We highlighted yesterday that it was upcoming. I hope some of you went and saw it because it was covering the protest that happened over the weekend, the International Association of Scientologists protest in the UK. It was like a 3-day protest. It was fantastic. You can find that on PTS for Life. The SP chef has content on it. Apostate Alex has content on it. So lots of information up there. People doing recaps about what happened during the 3-day protest, what it was like getting everything set up. So go ahead and go check that stuff out. Now, so we're going to get into a clip here because later on today, so make sure when you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, set it to all. 1 o'clock my time, so 1 o'clock Central time. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be doing a collaboration with Andy from Guitar Stuff Studio about Scientologist Stephen Ridley and allegations that his piano teaching thing he puts all across social media. He sells like this $3,000 learn the piano in X amount of days. You only have to practice 3 days a week. So here's the thing. First, he was getting called out because people in the piano world were like, you know what? That's just not a thing. No, you cannot just practice 3 minutes a day and expect those results. Well, you know what happened? Oh, you guys, there was a rabbit hole to go down, and many went down the rabbit hole, including Guitar Stuff Studio, Andy, who we're going to be talking to at 1 o'clock Central Time today. So if you can't be there live, catch it on the replay. There's another creator all across YouTube now. People are starting to wake up and cover this whole Stephen Ridley situation. Oh, there's Guitar Stuff Studio right there. That dude is cool, by the way. Not Stephen Ridley. I think he's probably talking about, I'm going to guess, Alex. Yep. We're going to, like I said, make sure you guys tune in for that. So other people across the interwebs are starting to go, wait a minute, what? Is Stephen Ridley using what he's doing to recruit for Scientology? Some are even asking, is Stephen Ridley using his piano lessons to recruit girls for Scientology? That's another question that's been being raised. So let's take a look at this clip here. This is from Brendan Kavanaugh, Scientology using YouTube piano course as cash cow and recruiting tool. Let's take a look at a little bit of this.
Seems there's much more to this story with Ridley than meets the eye. It's been going around that apparently this piano course, get this, you're not going to believe this. This Stephen Ridley piano course is a front for a religious cult. I'm not joking. A cult called Scientology. You may have heard it. Tom Cruise is a member. The Church of Scientology, founded by the science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard. He was a science fiction writer, wasn't doing too well in the 1950s in America, and he decided to start his own religion. Anyway, I'll leave you to research it. But apparently there's a lot of mothers who've been going on Reddit saying that because Stephen's got these kind of boyish good looks kind of thing, that apparently a lot of young girls have been joining his piano academy, and within a short amount of time they've been getting emails saying would they like a free personality test.
Yes, a free personality test. And where do they go for the free personality test? To a Scientology website. So yes, this would not be unusual for a Scientologist to use their business to recruit for Scientology. Because when you recruit, anybody Stephen Ridley recruits into Scientology, he gets a cut of that. Any services that they pay for and do, he gets a cut of that. So maybe it's a different income revenue or stream. I don't know. But we are going to get into it today at 1 o'clock Central. And this story is really picking up steam across the internet and has a lot of people talking and asking a lot of questions. It is, Kathy. It is. It's so crazy and scary. It is. Yep. Old Fritz, boyish good looks. He's a handsome guy. I don't even know how old he is. There is some information that we're going to be sharing at 1 o'clock that about his background and people who knew him in Scientology. So it's gonna be a good one. So I hope you guys are here for that. Make sure you guys hit like, subscribe on your way out. I will see you in a few hours. And most importantly, get out there and have an amazing cult-free day.